Okay, everybody, welcome back. We got Marcel Irnie and we got Romeo on the JBL speaker. Romeo, are you there?
Yes. I was thinking about your. You told me about this intention of Justin Trudeau to install this mandatory vaccine and things like this.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there might be extraterrestrial coming on the Earth, but this is a guy who is a guy from the Earth trying to become an extraterrestrial. This guy is completely broken from what's going on Earth, because there are a few days, probably not more than a week, since WHO said we are declaring the pandemic over. So you have the highest health organization in the world saying that, and then you Justin Trudeau, you're considering of introducing the mandatory vaccine for what? Because there is no coronavirus, so you have to find another illness, another condition, another epidemic for introducing mandatory vaccine. On the other hand, let's say as an absurd hypothesis that Justin Trudeau will manage to do it, but this is completely absurd. In this case, Canada, led by this guy, will be pioneering, because they will be the only ones. Canada will be the only one having mandatory vaccine, not Australia, not United States, which is your big brother over there. They don't even think about doing something similar.
Well, they certainly haven't announced it in their re-election campaign with Biden. I just can't believe this is on their website, and their website was just refreshed before the convention they just had last weekend. And you know, I just did a story on it for anybody watching who hasn't seen it. Go back one story. It's titled, you know, Liberal re-election promises mandatory vaccines and proof of vaccination. You know, again, they're going to bring back, and it's interprovincial. So for me to go to Alberta, if I want to go on that new racetrack in Alberta, Rocky Mountain Motorsport Park, which I'm planning to for Canada Day weekend, for my first race weekend, if they were re-elected and we fast forwarded, I couldn't even go to Alberta. I mean, we would, hopefully Canadians would be in the streets by then, but you know, like, it's so funny, like, because you know, we spurred on the rest of the world with the trucker convoy, and now what's going on in France, right? They're up in arms. France has been protesting how long now? It feels like a month almost, right? And
hey, Marcel, isn't that the entire world is boiling?
Boiling.
The entire world is boiling, yes. I mean, look at the French guys you said.
Macron. And the Dutch farmers.
Some of your, yes, some of your connationals, some of your Canadians, they don't know that that the NATO countries in Europe, they really cannot stop the rallies in their countries pro-Putin, pro-Russia. I mean, there are Germans rallying in Germany saying, we are tired of the NATO, we are with Putin, not because we love Putin, but this guy is right, Russia is right, we've been lied.
Yeah.
So, the world is boiling, it's completely boiling, and we now we are on the verge of that war in China, because United States is pushing, so-called defending Taiwan from the real owner. China is the owner of Taiwan. It's an historical fact. There's no necessary to be demonstrated.
Yeah, they're really putting themselves thin. The U.S. Army has really no soldiers these days. They don't have any new nuclear weapons. I just watched a little story about that the other day. where the U.S. actually hasn't made any new nuclear weapons in centuries, and they're actually losing their old weapons because, you know, every 50 years they have to redo the detonators inside of the nuclear weapons. Are you familiar with this, Romeo?
Hey, my friend, you and the Canadians and the United States people listening to our conversation now, I suggest them to see the coming war on China, a documentary made by John Pilger. This guy is probably now, today is 80. He did this documentary in 2016, and if you go there, he is touching this point of the Americans using experiment nuclear bombs in the islands of Pacific, and with people like Hawaiians.
Yeah.
And
what was that show called? What's the movie called
destroyed.
again? What was it? China? What's the movie?
The Coming War on China by John Pilger.
All right, everybody should go and watch it. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't. I got around to following your link. I got to get on that. Maybe I'll do it now since I'm injured and I'm icing my knee. I'm laid up, can't go dirt biking, just hanging at the beach. But what I was saying is, you know, Russia has a massive amounts of nuclear weapons, fresh nuclear weapons, and now so does China. China has nuclear weapons as well. And it's really funny that the U.S. under these extreme leftists, we're going to call them extreme leftists because these Democrats and liberals, they don't even meet the definition anymore because liberals used to represent free speech and now they don't. So these extremists, they want to go to war with Russia and China at the same time, and the U.S. doesn't even have an army like it used to. They're not a major power. They don't even have nuclear weapons that are made in the last centuries.
You know, regarding your declaration, I mean, you are presenting as a fact that they don't have nuclear. But listen,
but I mean, at the same time, they're pushing for Russia to do something bad.
Yes. At this point, I should advise you to see another documentary, "The Man Who Saved the Planet." This documentary is about a real Russian who lived, who died a few years ago in 2000. I don't know. A few years ago he died. He was a Russian who faced a situation in Russia, they were attacked by nuclear weapons coming from United States, but it was a fake. Somebody tried to hack their systems, convincing them that they are attacked by the nuclear weapons coming from United States, and then they should have followed the protocol in order to react and bomb United States. It didn't happen because of this guy, and this guy has been declared a hero, a planetary hero, and then he was invited in the United States, and then he has visited Kevin Costner because he was a fan of Kevin Costner. So you have to see this documentary, Kevin Costner receiving this guy and shaking his hand and loving him because he saved the planet. And inside this documentary, you might have the opportunity to see this guy meeting high-ranking soldier, let's say it like that, in the United States, and that guy presented to this Russian guy who saved the planet some sites, some places where the nuclear bombs were in the ground, prepared anytime to be launched.
What was that show called again? That one sounds familiar. What's that movie called?
It's not. Listen. It's not a show. It's a documentary.
Oh,
it's not a movie. It's a documentary. The Man Who Saved the Planet. The Man Who Saved the Planet.
All right, we got 2 shows, everybody, to get on, and we'll find them. We'll search them, see where they're. Maybe they're on a platform.
I'm not talking about documentaries just because I'm a passionate of documentaries. I'm talking especially about those 2 documentaries because they bring to the light shaking things about how the things work. And coming back to your worry about the United States trying to get in a war with Russia and China, no having nuclear I don't know, logistics and things like this, I wouldn't be so sure. I wouldn't be so sure. My opinion is that United States, they have, and this is the most dangerous point, because if they throw a rocket, then China throws a rocket, and then Russia and that North Korean guy, Kim Jong-un, he will get mad, you know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's got some. That's right. North Korea, I forgot. That's another one with nuclear power now.
Yes. And then Iran,
Yeah.
And then you know, yeah. So we might be probably in the middle of a microwave oven in 60 seconds if we don't pay attention.
That's right. We're gonna be we're gonna be the popcorn kernels.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
it
cool.
sounds crazy, but it's real. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on the show there, Romeo, and giving your little 10-minute bit about what's going on. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Yeah, my opinion is that don't worry about the dementia of Justin Trudeau. This guy is demented, and those guys like Justin Trudeau, they should be placed in a mental hospital, and that's it. So don't worry, he won't manage to introduce mandatory vaccine. I mean, it's completely crazy, and I have a suggestion for your listeners saying that. Please, my dear friends Canadians, don't forget that you've been in the convoy, some of you, that some of you have been stepped by the horses in Ottawa, and they were very tragic and very sad moments. So don't make it to be useless, those moments to be useless. Just remember that some Canadians suffered in order to stay away from mandatory anything, not only vaccines, mandatory anything.
Yep.
Nothing should be mandatory just because a guy or a group of guys, they want to do it mandatory. Nothing.
Well,
first of all.
So to reiterate your restatement of thesis, back to the very beginning when we started talking, this is all initially, our conversation was on Trudeau's re-election prioritization. Yeah. You know, if he's re-elected, he promises mandatory vaccines again and interprovincial proof of vaccine. What Romeo is saying is he's actually already off the cliff, and they're not going to get re-elected. And putting these in there, he's actually just, you know, he's like shooting himself as he jumps off the cliff, right? You think there's a strategy?
Off the cliff.
You think there's a strategy for him killing himself?
You are saying off the cliff, but I tell you, nobody. I mean, there is no need for anyone to push Justin Trudeau, to push him out of a skyscraper. He's jumping himself.
He's jumping himself, yeah. And then shooting himself on the way down,
right.
And then he shoots himself as he's dropping. Yeah. So essentially, yeah. So like,
that would be very spectacular.
So you really like, why did you know they had their liberal convention, the LibCon, I call it, and then they put on their website about these re-election promises for vaccine mandates and proof of vaccination, shooting himself in the foot before he finishes the marathon. It's such a strange strategy. I don't know if everybody's going to kind of jump on board with your thesis. It is very weird, though, to make that statement before getting reelected, you know, because there's only how many sheep are left that are like, you know, when I say sheep, I mean people who are on the bandwagon of like, yes, I want mandatory vaccines, because I think that's a very small number of the sheep. I think most of the sheep are just kind of quiet. They don't approve of mandatory. There's only a small fringe minority of people who are like on the bandwagon and promoting I'm vaccinated on Bumble. You know, there's on the dating sites Bumble and Tinder. There's people promoting that still. Small fringe. Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
No.
Can I tell you something? And my something will be pretty shaking. What I'm going to tell you.
All right.
Klaus Schwab and WEF. Klaus Schwab is not supporting Justin Trudeau anymore. This is the real reason Justin Trudeau is on his way out. Jacinda Arden of New Zealand. She has been out because WEF and Klaus Schwab didn't support. I mean, they are the children of WEF.
Yeah,
Emmanuel Macron, Justin Trudeau, Jacinda Ardern, and other guys. That lady from Finland, they are a generation created by WEF. And now Jacinda, she's out. Trudeau, he is on his way out because he's not supported by Klaus Schwab and WEF. That is the reason, not because Justin Trudeau is trying to introduce mandatory vaccine or things like this. No, because they are not supported anymore. And look at Macron. Macron is Emmanuel Macron. His country is falling apart because his crazy ideas with the pension system and things like this. But the problem is that Emmanuel Macron is not supported by WEF anymore. I mean, my feeling is that WEF and Klaus Schwab, they are preparing another generation of crazy guys.
Yeah.
Rishi Sunak being one of them. Rishi Sunak in Great Britain is one of them. He's a child of WEF, Rishi Sunak. And you'll see. I mean, my feeling is that the days of Justin Trudeau are counted.
Well, okay.
That is my point.
All right. Well, we'll take some note of that, and we'll see what happens in the next 6 months to 1 year, along with everybody losing their homes and all the homes defaulting. I don't know if you follow the banking and the mortgage balloon or bubble in Canada and the USA, Romeo, but a lot of people are going to be defaulting on their mortgages who are on variable rate fixed payment. It was like 3 or 4 months, 3 months ago, 30% of people hit trigger rate, and now a lot of people are probably hit trigger rate, and which means they're paying 100% interest, and their loan is increasing, which means their fixed payment of $3,000 a month, and then there's another $1,000 on top of that they're not paying, which gets added onto the primary debt. So their debt is increasing.
Marcel.
Yeah, and they'll lose their home, the default. Yes.
Marcel Irnie.
Romeo.
Listen, you are speaking like that because you didn't see the third documentary. That means The Big Short.
Yeah, I watched it. I saw The Big Short. Yeah, I know. It talks about the 2008 default crisis.
They are explaining how it's happening.
I know, it's happening again, and it's happening again. It's going with lock, stock, and barrel. Yes.
That's the point. We have enough sources of information to understand where the things are coming from and where the things are going. We just have to look at 3 documentaries, 4, 5, not more, and then we know what should we do.
Certainly opens your mind up. I know it didn't take much research to understand that I should avoid any experimental anything from any pharmaceutical company, period. What about the documentary on the medical devices industry? It's on Netflix. You just need to watch that, and you should be very skeptical of any medical, not just medical devices, but also medical drugs, pharmaceuticals. So there's another, I don't remember what it's called. It's named after a birth control that essentially thousands and thousands of women had to have hysterectomies because of the birth control device installed in their fallopian tubes or whatever they're called, and total disaster. And it was taken off the market in Europe, but kept going in the US for years, and there was protests about it. But anyways, these companies, Pfizer's paid out the biggest amount, the biggest marketing scheme, fraudulent activity fine in history, right? That one thing alone. Why would you trust the company that's paid the biggest fraudulent marketing fines in history? Why would you do anything? Why would anybody believe the... You know what it is? One guy explained it. It's like, you know why people are sheep? Because they can't... They just can't wrap their mind around that the government would truly be evil and want to hurt them. They just can't believe the government is evil. That's it. They just can't believe it until you have a personal experience with it, right?
There's a company that, according to her recent records, I mean, the company is called Pfizer. I'm not sure if you can, but you put a beep when I say that.
Oh no, there's no editing here, dude. But yeah, as long as you don't say anything that goes against this, try to. If you got to say something, just say the V for the whatever injections, you know, and you can say the word Pfizer, you know. Just be careful.
All right. So they did things against the humanity that should be condemned or prosecuted or things like this. Instead, what happened, my dear Marcel? Carson Tucker says that this company promoted a pill, a toxic pill, and he did it on Fox News. But Fox News had a very strong deal with that company I'm talking about, PF.
Yep.
And they decided to throw out Tucker Carlson because he touched the main sponsor. So instead of being prosecuted, that company still runs the world. I mean, if you run the Tucker Carlson and Fox News somehow by using the phone, you know, I want that guy out from there. Of course, you run Romania, you run Poland, you run Germany. I mean, if you go to that high, there's not a problem for that company to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and yes, wherever they want.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, you watched Tucker Carlson's recent speech where he talked indirectly about why he was fired. He indirectly talked about how you speak against the ownership of the company or their sponsorships. I can't remember his words. And people get fired over that. And he's like, it's true. It happened, he said. You know, so he was fired because, well, we all know BlackRock now has bought a majority share of Fox News as well, right? And we know the Murdochs have sponsorships as well. And we know that he wants to speak uncensored, and he's being told not to in certain cases. And they reached the boiling point and fired him right out of the blue. Right after he did this is right after he did a story on it, right? He did a story on the P company involvement, how these companies sponsor such programs in media, right?
Yeah. And now let's see a little bit about the Twitter. My feeling is that somehow Twitter, being the property of Elon Musk.
Yep.
After Tucker Carlson being allowed to have his own show on Twitter, I mean, Twitter will be attacked, completely attacked.
Well, they were attacked when he took over. I don't think it can get much more than that. Remember, all the leftists were like, he's causing censorship on Twitter. Remember, they were just they're like turning the words around and throwing it back, which is so ridiculous. Like, they're taking away democracy from Twitter, which he's actually reinstated it. That's all. He's reinstated free speech.
When I'm speaking about Twitter being attacked, I'm not saying being attacked by the fake stories. You know, Twitter is this. No.
The left extreme.
I mean, financially. Yes, financially.
Yeah. The sponsorships,
and,
the boycotts.
Strategies. Yeah. Boycott. Yes. I mean, they will try to destroy Twitter and make it useless somehow. And
they won't.
This way,
they won't succeed.
Carson Tucker will not have the opportunity to speak.
No, I don't think so. I think certain sponsors realize the value of free speech in terms of profit making. You know, there's been some debates on that. It's like, you know, go woke, go broke. I mean, these companies are running the woke agendas and they're losing money. Okay, let's get that straight. These banks are failing because of how their hiring practices. And tons of businesses are failing. Look at Vice. You remember the Vice? The Vice was a very popular company doing, you know, documentaries about whatever. And now they're going bankrupt and they're being bought out by whatever company. Because they went woke. They went woke with their agenda and their hiring practices, from a small company run by smart individuals to then going woke and being hired, you know, you know, having stupid people in the middleman of the artists. Anyways, I just watched a story on that yesterday. No, so I think free speech is going to start creating big income, and new sponsors will come along and be involved with that. You know, I think it'll be okay. And look at you. Hey, you're not even on Twitter, but tons of people are now joining Twitter, including my lawyer friend in Alberta. He just texted me this morning after he watched my story about the liberal vaccine mandates, and he's like, he just did a post. I just did my first post on Twitter about that. The lawyer in Alberta, because he joined up because of Tucker going on Twitter at his announcement. And not just that, if you look at my comments, look at the comments, you'll see there's 10 comments out of 50 saying, I just joined Twitter because Tucker is going to Twitter. So I totally disagree with that.
Yes, I saw the comments, but I would say, to your hypothesis, I would say, so help us God. I would say. I mean, if it runs like this, but listen, because considering that there are some United States people, Americans, listening to our conversation when you publish it.
Yeah, mostly Americans and Canadians listen. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanna say something. When you have companies, huge companies, in bankruptcy because they go woke, that should be a subject of a national interest. I mean, NSA, FBI, CIA should.
They are woke though. They're woke right now. Button. But the CIA and the FBI are woke because they're run by the Bidens.
Yes, but the problem is that America is falling down because America is based on companies, working companies, producing companies. And when you have
it was based on capitalism, and now it's not much of it anymore. Yes, I know what you mean.
That is a problem of the national security, and somebody should be aware over there about that, because they are falling down when the economy is touched and nothing works, and then you are down, and China and Russia will be happy, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the same thing in Canada. Like, look, I mean, we're all going to have inflation like crazy. It's going to go back up to, officially whatever they give the numbers, bullshit. But we're seeing practically from food to products, even my own Amsoil products, because all the raw materials, like the filters now have doubled in price. You know, instead of being a $15 to $20 oil filter, now it's $30 to $40 oil filter. So I see 50% inflation in many practical products. And certainly food is up like 15-20% overall. You know, the eggs now at Costco, of all places, for a 2-pack, a 2 dozen, it's literally like $7 a dozen now, when at Costco it should be $4 a dozen. So what's that? That's a 40% increase.
My feeling is that they are firing the bridges. I mean, they are firing the bridges. It looks like somebody does it on purpose.
Oh, I agree. That's what I mean. That's the whole point. It's not. They can't be this stupid. There's nobody this stupid. It's all on purpose. They're trying to reset it. With the Great Reset, you need to destroy everybody's. It's kind of like watching an apocalyptic movie or a show on zombies. You need to go take it right down till the cities are destroyed and everybody's asking the government for help, and then the government will save you, and everybody will be on the teat of the government, suckling at that little bit of milk the government gives you to survive, and then they control you.
Do you know how is that called when the government saves everybody? It's communism.
I was going to say that. Yeah, it's communism.
Communism.
Yeah, well, and it's not even good communism. It's all the way fascist. Yeah.
Welcome to the American communism.
Yeah, America communist America and Canada. Yeah. Well, we reached 29 minutes on this little chat we've had, bud. We should probably cut her off.
All right.
We should do this again.
Oh, sure. Yes, I'm open to this. So anytime.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for chatting, Romeo.
Yeah, all the best. All the best to you and the guys from Canada and United States.
All right, cool, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow, maybe. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, there you have it, guys. Romeo from Romania. I got to get switched from ice to heat now and get my my healing disc out and put that on. It's amazing what that can do. Thanks to my buddy Steve for giving me his healing aid disc. Been using it for like a year now. Even gave one to Q-Man. Yeah, interesting chat, Romeo, guys. What do you guys think? What do you think about all the topics we covered? Put them in the comments. Make sure you like to get us in, you know, to beat this algorithm of the YouTube, which my channel is completely fucked. But give it a try anyways. Like it. Maybe it'll get some algorithm. Thanks for watching Ernie Racing News.